Oh, we're ready. We were just waiting on the real talent to arrive. Fran just waltzed into his cold brew and his Starbucks. And you told me you wanted to start this early because you're like...
I did order a venti, by the way.
Fuck off. Can I... Oh, wait, I've learned how to say that. Chinga something. I don't want to say. Last night we were watching Narcos. Welcome to the Fitish podcast. We're getting right into it because I just have I haven't seen Fran in 30 minutes and I have so many things in this 30-minute period that I want to rage about. No, I watched the entirety. Sit closer to me so we can, you love me, we're having a baby together. No, so people can see you on camera. Fran was out of town. So when he stays out of town longer than anticipated, I came back from Mexico City alone. He stayed and he had work to do. I mean, it was reasonable. But when he continues to extend his stay for a while, I don't know. You have a bunch of white toothpaste there. Sorry. I've been rushed. I punish him by watching shows that he wants to watch. So I watched the entire new season of Narcos Mexico the day after it came out. Now we're rewatching it, which is great because I get to practice my Spanish. But last night, this is why I need a tutor, an educated Spanish instructor that also speaks English, because I ask him questions and I know that he's tired because it's 8:00 at night, whatever. But I'm watching a scene and I'm actually really engaged. I'm trying to get back into Spanish. I'm paying really close attention to the translations, which, of course, if you're bilingual, it's probably not accurate, right? Or always exact. But I'll ask him questions here and there. I can tell he's pretty put out by me because he's able to sit on his phone and watch the show when I'm not. I have to be very engaged to Narcos Mexico because if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. But it's all in Spanish. And there's a scene where they're saying, I hear different versions of chingon, chingana, whatever. Obviously, if there's 22 ways to say fuck in Spanish, or fuck you, or fuck your mother, or basically every vulgarity version of that. So I asked him to explain, well, he said this and then he said this. So how do you know which one? And he's like, oh, it's just the, by connotation. And I was like, well, yeah, but there has to be different, how do you know? And then then we kind of got into it because I wasn't making sense to him in the way I was asking. And then that's kind of how my Spanish lesson goes. And then it kind of ends there. So I Google things online and it's very clear. It's the 22 uses of chingon.
Yes.
And it
is Google very clear.
Yeah, but I love you and I want you to teach me.
And I love you.
See, this is why this hurts my feelings actually now. You just hurt my feelings because I want my partner, look at the effort. I'm pregnant, I'm carrying your child, and I'm trying to learn your language, and you're dismissing it.
I'm not dismissing it.
And this is what they told us in therapy, that sometimes you dismiss my feelings, and you have an option to acknowledge it with your partner, which I think is very valuable. You may unintentionally be dismissing it, but you can acknowledge your partner's feelings even if you don't agree, or you can dismiss them, or you can totally negate them. And that's just being okay, babe, that's dismissive.
Okay, babe. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I kid.
No,
so I absolutely agree with you. I think I was trying to give you my knowledge, but my knowledge is very limited, especially at 9 p.m. And yeah, there's the conjugation of chingar is endless, or the way that you say it, there's just a lot of ways.
But how does that help me learn? By going, it's endless. Well, yeah, so start fucking teaching me the endless ways to use it.
Well, I'm about to use the whole conjugation of chingar right now. I'm about to give you a couple examples.
How is this Spanish news for you? And don't shit on my pronunciation since you've been of no help. Productos de belleza con ingredientes naturales para hacer tu rutina más verde y sostenible.
Amazing.
People on Espanol Fitish.
That's amazing.
We're in it.
That's congratulations, baby.
So what did I say? Something about natural products and stuff?
Yes, you said that.
Vegan. I don't know. There's a whole little article on us and People Espanol.
Yeah. Beauty products with natural ingredients that make your skincare routine more green and sustainable.
Okay, babe.
That's really cool.
Oh, no, that's cool, right? I'm trying. I really want to learn. Yeah, I'd really like to learn. And it's just difficult. After being with your family, we had a great time in Mexico. I know I got to touch base with JC on it last week, but it was great. And then after being around y'all, and of course there's so much Spanish going on, it's pretty tiring because you find yourself either, and I don't know if you felt this way, as you're listening to the show, when you've been in another country or you're with someone that speaks another language, I'm sure you have that option to stay like really mentally engaged, or when you're tired, which I get, you just kind of, you tune out. So I find myself being more quiet than ever sometimes when I'm there, because you get lost in the world a little bit because you're, and I understand like one out of every
my
five
family
words.
thinks that you're very introspective.
Little do they know what a fucking talkative nightmare I am, right? Oh, your parents are so wonderful, though. They're so sweet. But yeah, they probably think I have like nothing to contribute.
No, of course not, babe. You have a lot to contribute. I think they...
And his brother is dating a girl, and I haven't gotten to meet her before. And she seems great, but she doesn't speak any English. And so when I finally got to meet her, they've been dating for like the last year. She's from Brazil, right? So they speak Portuguese, but apparently he said, her Spanish is okay. Like, it's probably better than mine, obviously. But he said her Spanish is just okay. Portuguese is her main language. And I said hi to her. She didn't even really say hi back. The only thing she said is just like, sorry, I don't speak English. I was like, well, she knows that, but she didn't even that's all she knows in English. So, which is fine because that's about the level of what I know in Spanish. I mean, I know a little more, but yeah. So there was no getting to know brother's girlfriend. She needs to start
polishing her Spanish first, and then she will jump into the English right after. But no, she's really nice. I think she's a sweet girl.
Yeah.
And my brother is happy, which that's what matters, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird that you can have a good time. I'm I like connecting with people. We're like monkeys right now. You can always watch the show on YouTube. You miss moments like this where he rolls in. I do have to say, I was telling our producer this morning, you're the type of guy, there's things we love and then there's funny things about each other. And it doesn't drive me crazy at all. It's just something I've learned to know about you. You want to have this sort of schedule, right? Like you're the type to be like, we need a very set schedule when baby comes. I was telling my mom. And I'm like, dude, I put a magnetic calendar on the fridge. I have a digital calendar you don't contribute to. You book things on the wrong date, and then you tell me we need a really good schedule when the baby comes. Like, no shit. I have a great fucking schedule. And then today you're like, we have an important business meeting at 11:30. He has a heart out at 12:45. I'm like, great. Well, then that means we need to start a podcast at 10 o'clock or 10:15 at the latest. And you roll. I talk to you at 10:15. You're still in the fucking house.
Babe. Well, repeat what you just said that I always say.
That we need a really good schedule.
Did I say we or did I say you? I said we need a really good schedule.
So why don't you say me?
I'm talking about both of
you.
us. Both.
I am scheduled. I mean, I'm not type A schedule, but I have a full calendar schedule.
Okay, we're improving. Cheers.
He loops me into this drama. It's just like, I don't know, ladies, if your man does this to you and they're like, we need to be like cleaner around the house. And you're like, really? Really, we who brings down like every cup off the nightstand, and you have I counted 7 things this morning. You have 7 cups on your nightstand this morning.
I drink a
and then
lot of
he'll
water.
be like, "Where are all the cups?" I'm like, "I don't know. They're next to your bed." I mean, luckily, neither you or I are super clean freaks, because then we would drive each other crazy, I'm sure, because I'm by no means like a clean freak. I like a clean kitchen, but I mean, I leave clothes in the closet and I like periodically go through phases where I
we
clean
are in the
closet.
same, we're in the same level.
This is where I need to take a breath. We're on the same level. You're right. You're right, babe. We're on the same level.
And me both.
You're right. You're absolutely right. If you've been having relationship issues, like clearly we are, can I suggest BetterHelp?
I like BetterHelp.
Yeah.
I will like BetterHelp.
I like BetterHelp too. Yeah. And then even better for you, you don't have to leave the house.
That's amazing.
BetterHelp is actually online, customizable therapy, right? So like we could literally get my laptop out right now. We could pop it open. We could have them search for us for exactly what kind of issues we're having. I mean, obviously just relationship issues in general. And they'll match you with someone that's fit because obviously, therapists specialize in different psychologies and in different areas. And BetterHelp's just amazing because it's going to be more affordable. Fran and I actually went to some therapy in the past before we knew about BetterHelp, before that existed. And it gets so expensive. And
I think we bought a car
scheduling.
for that girl.
We bought a car for her. No.
She was driving a brand new Porsche after
after our 3 sessions. Yeah. No, we went to a few sessions, but you got to make the time for it. You got to drive. And then there's always that awkward car ride home if you've gone together and you've gotten into it during therapy or if stuff's come up from the past. So, if you do go to, you can totally avoid all of this when you use BetterHelp because you're just on your computer. I mean, you could even be in a different location.
That would be amazing.
In your office, and I could too. You don't even have to turn the camera on, frankly. BetterHelp is just something that we absolutely love. I love that they endorse the Fitish podcast, and I recommend checking it out. The holidays are going to get stressful, and if you're having some issues, it's better to tackle them right now before things get worse. And they'll connect you in under 48 hours with someone, especially if you're really going through something. So go to betterhelp.com/Fitish. That's BETTERHELP.com/Fitish. You are actually going to get 10% off your first month. And like I said, it's already more affordable than, other in-person therapy you might find in your area. Betterhelp.com/Fitish.
Still a really good time to get into the nice list of your partner by doing that.
Instead
of the naughty.
Of your partner?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're on the nice list.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm not getting
excited
called
for our trip?
I'm so excited about our trip.
Fran and I leave now. Actually, by the time you're listening to this, we'll be on.
We're leaving.
Yeah, we're leaving. Yeah, we're on our way to Paris.
Yeah, because in Mexico we believe that babies come from Paris, so we're just going to.
Why? I don't get the
qualify
joke.
that idea. I don't know. Babe, they said, of course, they said that the bird brings the babies. What's the bird?
The stork.
The stork.
See?
And there another story that babies come from Paris. Mexicans, we're just like that.
So you believe that all of your babies come from another culture and country?
It is a romantic thing. I don't know.
So Mexicans like Paris?
I think, Mexican is very inspired. He's been very inspired by Paris. But I think this was just something that they used to tell babies, oh yeah, babies come from Paris. It was something very usual, at least in my generation, that your grandmother tells people, oh yeah, babies come from Paris. I don't know why.
I see. Are you pulling my leg?
No.
How do you learn expressions like that? I never say pulling my leg. And that's just such a weird, when that's what I think about when I'm trying to learn another language, because I think you're great with it. And my favorite thing that you do when it comes to language in general is when you kind of missay stuff, because I would fully anticipate that it would take me forever to learn, I wouldn't kick her. What is that Southern expression people say? I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers. And it's just the thing you say. Cause crumbs are really annoying. And so when the girl's really hot, you say well, I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers. But these are expressions that are pretty archaic. We don't really use them. And I don't know when you learn them. And how do you learn them? How did you learn some of those expressions? Cause you can't learn them literally, right?
We're in a culture that we use, especially in my family, we have says for everything. So I think just come with generations. You just hear them and your grandma says something and your family says something. So, but don't ever try to translate that you're pulling my leg, because it can take you to a really wrong path.
What, in Spanish you mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't think you have that same expression.
No.
Like that, right?
Yeah, it could be a little
What would it mean?
Just exactly, literally, you're pulling my leg. It could go to a path that could get dark real quick.
It's not making sense to me. Even your English right now isn't making sense to me.
Well, that's what happens when I go to Mexico for 10 days. My English just get unpolished.
it get unpolished. It does. That's for sure. Well, that's okay. Monette Davis loves it. I wanted to get through some of your letters today. Still not enough feedback in my opinion, but before I criticize you, no. She said, "Hey, Jenna, love hearing you and Fran talking. Love his accent. I was also really happy to hear you both say you get along well with older people. I'm in my 50s, but just love listening to you. And I use all your Fitish products, but I figured I wasn't even your demographic. So nice to hear that I am." And she said, "I love JC, not to leave him out." But that's great. I think we've gotten great feedback about Fran, and so that's why he's gonna consistently be on more. I wasn't sure how people
That's
would.
so
I mean,
nice.
I know I love you. Like I let you impregnate me. Well, the doctor did, but you get it. But I didn't know if other people would take to you so well, and people seem to really like you.
I'm very surprised that could go 50-50 sometimes.
It could go 50-50. I don't know if I've ever told you this because I met you way after I had started on the radio. I had the hardest time when I started on that show. And I think starting on a radio show, people don't like change. And I think that's the deal in general. People, you get accustomed to things that you like a certain way, like a television show. And that's probably what a radio show is like. You feel like you know all of us and you do. But then when there's a new voice or a new person, most of the time people, I mean, and we had this message board and some people, I'm not going to say y'all because I don't think any of those people listened to me, but people were brutal. They hated the way I talked when I first moved to Texas because they thought I was more Yankee sounding. And I was always told I had a pretty neutral accent being from Ohio. Most people from the Midwest
get that
don't
all
tend
the
to have.
time.
Yeah. But again, people with accents, but I think Americans love other accents, right? Like we get in a tizzy over anything really. Like we just love a different sounding accent. Yeah. So, but people can understand you. People think you're funny.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
That makes me really happy.
That doesn't mean you can show up late to the podcast recording. It's already going to your head.
Well, I hope we can get the orders straight next time, but hopefully we have lobster for lunch as I requested.
I was going to tell him one of y'all wrote and said that you love the podcast, but the only issue you have when Fran hosts is that the intro to the podcast is actually JC and I. It's like a kind of a highlight reel, that we've recorded that lays on the front of the podcast. And they asked if we could record one with Fran for the weeks that Fran's on. So I haven't run that by the authorities yet. I haven't asked the higher power if that's okay. And it should take a while for you to earn that privilege, but they say it really throws them when JC.
By the higher power, you mean me, right? That's okay, baby.
Yeah,
we can do it.
What?
An intro.
Oh, like I'm asking you? Yeah. I got some pretty wild feedback from you about, well, really one man in particular. So, sir, clearly you were also uncircumcised because he was very offended at our conversation about. He actually had timestamps, and I'm sure you're listening to this now, about moments where I said things, and I hope you all understand. I think most of you get me. Fran and I have we pick at each other. We aren't going to leave here fighting today, I don't think. We like to talk about stuff that we do actually. This isn't something we've gotten into some knockdown, drag out fight over. This is something we like to try and talk about, and we get very opinionated and stubborn, but I wasn't trying to insult you, by saying that I want to get a child circumcised. They were just like, this is his one request at minute 11:21 in the podcast. You're trying to take away someone's manhood. Like he wrote a novel about it. So I am so sorry that I offended you. It does not change my mind that I would prefer circumcised penis.
You know how many emails I have to make fake to send to the podcast, so it seems that it's someone else. God. It takes a village.
It wasn't you because his grammar was pretty good. His spelling was good, but that'd be so funny if you did do that and I'm reading it. Yeah, no, I hope you all know, like we're not kidding about stuff. I mean, these are real things that we're going through, but I think most of y'all appreciate that we kind of share our difference in opinion. So I did, I had a conversation with the doctor. I had to go to a doctor's appointment without you.
Yeah, I know. I was very upset about that.
I'm sure you were. You weren't there for me and the baby.
All the series that we were watching all together. But what did the doctor say?
Everything was good.
That's it?
Yeah. I did prepare her that we want to have a conversation about.
Oh yeah, you how much you paid her?
No, I didn't. I feel really proud of myself because I definitely had an opportunity to say next time we're going to talk about circumcision, and I want you to tell him why the baby needs to be circumcised. But I didn't do that at all. I promise you. I actually said we agree on almost everything except that, and it's not that I don't think we can come to an agreement. It's just that I think that. like in most relationships, I've kind of joked with her. I'm like, I could research how to swaddle a baby and how to do all these things. I read so much material about trying to have a baby. And I feel like in the middle of the night, I could tell him like, oh, it's too tight or it's too loose. And he'll Google it. You know what I mean? Like you'd still Google it. And that's kind of the joke I make. But I think that's pretty typical in relationships. I mean,
And you take my word for it.
We were arguing about something the other day and you Googled it. And I told you a million times the answer. What was it? It was just like day before yesterday. And I'm like, I just told you this. And you were like, oh, yeah. And then you spent 10 minutes Googling it and you came back to me and told me what I had already told you. So that's kind of how a relationship works with stuff that we doubt each other on. So that's why I said, but when a medical professional,
like real facts,
when a medical professional gets involved, it's about our baby lists and address, which we don't need to get into right now, but and I was right, but you had to Google it to make sure, which is fine. But what I told her is that if that's our relationship and neither you or I, we doubt each other since neither of us have raised a child, it's really nice when we have a medical professional give their opinion and give both sides of it, and I was like, I don't even, you don't even need to tell me anything now, but I think it'd be nice for us to kind of have a conversation about, because there's obviously reasons for and against doing that, personal preference. Does he want to look like dad? 99% of the kids, in this area are, I don't think it's humiliating. I don't really care about that,
I really don't, like, I'm willing to listen. Like I want whatever is best for my child.
I'm glad you feel that way.
And I'm very happy about that guy, that email. I'm sure I have your support to send another email about this podcast. Thank you.
See, I'm sharing. I like to be somewhat objective. I'm sharing that I got negative feedback about that. But here's something positive. So we have something else from Ashley. Ashley said, you said you don't get many letters, but I want you to know we are listening. I figured y'all are just cool. Like I listen to stuff and I don't really send a lot of messages.
I only send bad messages.
Shut up. I love Franny. I love you. I love JC. I love how real and authentic you all get about life and how relatable you are. People are assholes behind a keyboard. Keep being you. This is really positive. This is nice. Thanks. But she does have a question. She says, I want to know, this one might be more for JC, but we'll see if Fran can answer it. How do you handle when you're in a workout and horrible eating funk? I feel like I haven't gotten back to where I was pre-pregnancy almost 4 years ago. For example, I used to love running, eating super healthy. I drank tons of water. When I got pregnant, all of that shifted. I feel like I struggle to make time to work out. I'm not a morning person. And then I'm so tired by the time I get home, I just want to sleep. My toddler's so picky. I don't know what to fix that my whole family will eat. And as for water, I can't seem to drink it like I used to. A memory popped up on my timeline yesterday and it said I was off work by 4:40. Then I went for a 4-mile run, went to the store to get dinner stuff. I can't imagine how I used to fit in running 4 miles and cooking dinner after work. Tell me, how do you all do it?
Embrace it.
I love the honesty because actually I so feel the same way as you, and I don't even have the toddler part yet. And I tell Fran all the time, I think, I actually 2 days ago, I worked out for the third time since I've been pregnant. And I mean, I'm talking the third time really probably since like May, which is crazy, right? Because I was never a crazy worker outer as much as JC. I mean, he's much more regimented. I think with JC, like he's always just been different. JC, and I can speak for him like because I've known him for so long. He's the type of guy that it's so boring to me. Like he can eat the same thing every day. Some guys are just built differently like that. Like he could, if he's trying to cut weight, like he would eat broccoli and chicken for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it would just gross me out because I just can't do that. Like I get unhappy when I'm doing that or depriving myself. But I'm with you in terms of energy. Like I don't know how. I mean, I used to get up and go do the radio show and then I would maybe go work out and then I'd do Fitish stuff until like 11 o'clock at night. And I don't have that kind of capacity anymore. And I think that I tell myself, well, if working out, it's just like learning a new language, right? If it was easy, everyone would do it. And it's not, I think that I hate to say it. It's like, sometimes you just have to make the time for something if you really want it badly enough. But how do you work out and go to the store? I Instacart groceries because that's been easier for me, or some of the food services, that we talk about on the podcast, things like that are great. But in terms of fitness, I get it. I can't imagine how tough it is. How do you do it? You do it in the morning and you don't do it every morning.
Well, I used to do it every morning. I haven't been doing it every morning, but I think my advice is start with little goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like start with waking up a little earlier and do a 20-minute run. But little goals. Don't try to do it all, because then you're not going to do it and you're going to be very disappointed.
Yeah.
Just instead of eating that piece of bread that you eat in the morning, eat something else. Maybe a rice patty or something like that.
A rice patty.
What those things are.
But you're right. I think it's little goals. You know, my mom and I were talking about this, and she, Candy and I've kind of, I don't know, I haven't talked about this, but we're kind of in this place of like, I've been worried about her in a similar way, because she doesn't eat well. And I feel like mentally I've noticed her, she's going to kill me when she listens to this, but like, I feel like mentally, and she argues with me about it, which is fine, you know, but I can tell, like, you know, she's kind of telling me some of the same stuff, or she'll get really focused on an issue she had at work, you know, with some drama with someone else, you know, that she works with or something. And I get it, because we all feel that way. I mean, we all have work drama. However, I've learned from my own life that, you know, you get caught up in stuff when you don't have a whole lot else going on. And so, you know, the point of all that is, I told her, I was like, you need to go join like the Y or do something, because if she can start exercising again, I think it changes everything, you know? And for me, it really does start with that, carving out like 20 minutes. I was like, don't commit to like, you don't have to go work out every day, right? You don't have to cook dinner every night. You don't have to go work out every day. Sometimes it's just changing your psychology a little bit, right? Like for me, I went and I told myself, I'm going to go into this gym for 10 minutes because I haven't worked out in months. And if I only do 10 minutes of stretching and rolling around, that's absolutely fine, you know, kind of lowering the expectation. I ended up staying for 45 minutes, kind of trying to do some stuff, and I'm really sore because of it. But I was so proud of myself, and I felt better that day and now than I've felt in months. And I think sometimes you just have to capitalize on that, even if it's once a week. But you know what? Don't take it from me. Noom has been a sponsor of the Fitish podcast, and this is actually an amazing service, because this is a psychology-based approach to getting people back on track to eating healthier. All right. So this is, it's just different, right? Because I think a lot, especially women, we understand that food and the way that you eat has so much to do with our psychology. You know, sometimes you eat when you're not hungry. You eat when you're bored. You eat when you're stressed. You eat when you're tired. You know, you eat with all of these other emotions when your body doesn't even really need it. And Noom, instead of setting these strict rules about, you know, the kinds of food you're eating or disallowing certain things, they're actually going to empower you with practical knowledge. So you're going to build smarter, more sustainable habits and behaviors. So you're going to focus on like why your habits are what they are, right? And everyone's journey is going to be totally different. So, you know, this isn't, like I said, that don't eat this, eat that, right? Because that gets so strict. I don't work well under that kind of pressure. It's more about making informed choices, about kind of timing when you're eating, and you're going to have a coach as well. So you spend like 10 minutes a day where you're, you know, using the service and kind of reading about feedback, getting feedback and reading about your eating habits, checking in on your progress. More than 75% of users who have tried Noom have completed the program. More than 60% of users have lost 5% or more body weight by 16 weeks, which is super cool, right? So anyway, I would recommend trying something like this. I mean, especially as we get into the holiday season. Again, it's only going to take you 10 minutes a day, and you are actually going to get a trial when you go to noom.com/Fitish. That's NOOM.com/Fitish. Again, this is for a trial. Just check it out at noom.com/Fitish, NOOM.com/Fitish.
I like how mental healthy we are today.
I know.
Body healthy.
I know, it's great. I think we have great sponsors of the podcast. I mean, we get to say no to ones that we don't want to work with, you know, like I only will say yes to.
Well, they'd never run it by me, but that's okay.
Yeah, but you don't.
I'm just kidding.
I would actually love, if we got approval, I would love for you to do one of them. I would love for you to do one of the podcasts. That's going to be the goal, right? We're going to build up for Franny doing a sponsored podcast read at some point.
That's going to be funny. We're going to lose money on that one, but okay.
Okay, so I have to tell you something. I watched all of Narcos, you already know. I watched the season premiere of Dexter: New Blood. I watched another episode of Succession. And I didn't watch Yellowstone yet. I think I watched something else though that I'm forgetting what it is. Right? I watched the Great British Bake Off.
Everything but the Bake Off.
What was I supposed to do? You were supposed to come back on Friday. You didn't come back until Monday. I was alone all weekend.
Find a hobby, like read, start painting pottery or something.
That was my hobby. I watched all my favorite shows.
That's our hobby. Like start like sewing, like knitting. Let's start knitting a blanket for a baby.
How old do you think I am?
You're gonna be a mom. Like
knitting?
Yes. Like a little onesie, can you imagine?
I can't imagine. No, you know what I have been working on? I have been working on somewhat of a hobby. I'm going to start 2 more businesses, I've decided.
I know. Wow.
I'm not everyone already knows one, we're going to do Delta 8. It's not going to be under Fitish, so that's fine. I've already given that away. And then I know a lot of you wrote and said, and the other one I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but it might have something to do with babies. But yeah, I'm going to start 2 new businesses, so hopefully you support them. But I get a lot of emails from y'all about Delta 8. Great. Glad everyone's excited. I hope you'll understand that being in the CBD, being in, let's just call it cannabis space, is so unimaginably difficult sometimes. And I know you'll just take my word for it, but I mean, I'm talking from ad accounts getting suspended, not legally allowed to buy advertising on social media. So when you see it, brands, you either barely get away with it, you get reached out to. I had to go through our website the other day. This crushes my soul. I had to go through our website, and some of you that have had really great experience with Fitish products, right? So Fitish is only CBD. However, a lot of you leave reviews talking about the experience you've had with product, right? I mean, we have probably 100 reviews on each product for the most part, unless it's a new product. But from, it clearing up skin conditions that you've had. I mean, let's just be honest. You have left reviews saying it's worked on your eczema, your psoriasis. I mean, this has driven my business. This isn't even what I anticipated would happen, but you're leaving these comments about all of this kind of healing that you've encountered, and it's just overwhelming. And we have had to really kind of buckle down on what we are allowed to post, because I think the bigger you get as a business, the more you grow, the more eyes that are on you. And we try and do everything very by the book. I mean, I have to go get like FBI fingerprints to have my hemp license. I can't kill Fran because now I'm in the system. So, I go through a lot for this business. Yeah, no.
She'll figure out a way.
No, I'm just trying to be funny about it, because it really is. It's incredibly stressful with, just the littlest thing. I mean, they don't even want me to use a word like hydrate. Like, how can you not have a moisturizer and use the word hydrate, And so just being very candid about it, it's really hard, because there's not a policy that says you can do this and you can't do this. It's just they kind of pick and choose. And so, at some juncture, there's going to be regulation in this space, and that'll be amazing, especially for those of us on the right side of the law and doing things correctly. But I had to go through our website. I had to take down so many reviews, because they say that if it's on your website, that is you endorsing it. Right. Like you're actually making a medical claim. So yeah, I had to go through the Fitish site, and I did it by myself, Danny and I did it, but we went through and we're kind of going back and forth going, is this a medical claim? Because we don't have like I was saying, we don't have an exact structure of it. So it's so hard. But anyway, coming back to Delta 8, the reason, I want to do this, and, I've had Fran sample it, and I've had a couple close friends sample this, but a lot of you, dozens of you wrote me about wanting to sample, and I still fully intend on you being testers. But I think some of the legal issues, you want to be so careful, right? Like, y'all need to sign waivers. Let's just be honest. You need to sign waivers, because what if you get high and then you're mad? You have to sign waivers, and we have to protect ourselves.
You will get high.
And then, Texas came out momentarily and was like, Delta 8's not legal anymore. And so I wrote some of you and was like, okay. And then now again, it's been, there was an injunction filed by a judge now re-allowing it, because it technically is legal. And Maricruz, actually, Lopez, this is where you go shout out. Maricruz.
Woo!
No. So when I say Maricruz Lopez, you go shout out, because you're one of them. You get it? Okay. Yeah. So Maricruz Lopez
shout out
wrote, yeah, exactly.
Was it good?
Yeah, that was good. Or you can say shout out in Spanish.
No.
How do you know?
It doesn't work out the same.
You don't have a word like that? Like if you're shouting out, no, okay.
Oh,
great.
maybe.
You're
if you
so-
know the word, let us know.
You're so fun. If you don't know the word, then like how does someone else? You
Because there's a lot of people that speak better Spanish also, I'm pretty
That
sure.
you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Right now it's Spanglish.
She said, I would love to participate as a tester for Delta 8. I've listened to the podcast. You know, I'd love to hear an episode about the
Shout out.
differences on what.
That doesn't go
No,
there?
no. It's just, I only had you do it because she's Mexican
Oh,
or Hispanic.
great.
Because I don't know for sure. And like, that's what you do. Like on the show, don't you remember like Big Al, like anytime you thought someone might be black, you would go shout out and she'd be like, I'm not black. And JC does it whenever anyone has like a sounding Hispanic name. So that's what you do. Because you're just like, yeah, one of my people. Okay, you don't have to do it. Just forget it. You know what? Whatever. I'd love to hear an episode about the differences on what the uses are with cannabis. So obviously, you know, America is not going to, get into all of that today. But I hope you all know that, we're working on it, I mean, so much so that it's like I have to go to another state, to do this, right? Like I can go to Oklahoma. So if you're in Oklahoma, shout out. I'd love to be welcomed there in your state. But, marijuana is legal in Oklahoma. So if I wanted to, like, I could actually sell weed products in Oklahoma.
No shit.
No shit. That was good. You already know that, but that was good. You did it like that. So yeah, so we could go to Oklahoma and I could sell stuff there, but then you can't ship it to another state. Like I couldn't ship if I wanted to make some joints or some kind of nice weed, right? I couldn't then ship what I made in Oklahoma to California. Like it still federally can't cross state lines. So you'd have to get it made in the state where you sell it. CBD is different. It's allowed to cross state lines. And then Delta 8, I think the reason, and if you're curious, it is fascinating. The reason it was made legal by the Farm Bill because as long as it has under the 0.3 THC, which a lot of Delta 8 does, again, it does feel like a gray area because it does give you it does make you high, not necessarily as high as super strong medical marijuana with high THC content, but it does make you high. And so I think most people were surprised that Delta 8 was allowed. Anything right that's deemed Delta 9 is technically too
THC.
high of THC content. It is illegal in the state of Texas, right? That would be deemed as like, the marijuana that with THC. But Delta 8 was passed with the Farm Bill. So when Texas comes along and says like, well, no, never mind, like it's making people high, we can't do it. Well, it's technically federally legal. So for now, it's legal again. But I think you understand my hesitation. I don't want to jeopardize a business or start selling something that then gets banned. And I just want to make sure that everything's on the right side of the legal tracks here. So I'm not leaving any of you out. I promise as soon as we kind of make sure all our ducks are in a row, I'm happy to have you all test all the different flavors and products and stuff we're thinking about. Because I think that's fun as a consumer, right?
Absolutely.
To get to test stuff.
Yes, I think it's, and you need their feedback.
I do need their feedback. Yeah, I do need their feedback. We're launching a couple new Fitish products here coming up. Wait till the end of the show. I'm going to give you a discount on that, which will be really exciting. So we just dropped 2 new ones, actually.
That's very exciting. I'm very excited, and I know which ones are they. And I've tried them
because they come out by the time this is on.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. The bath salts.
Yeah, but not the bath salts that got a bad rap. Like actual like Epsom soaking salts, and you can use it as a body scrub as well. So
It has an amazing texture.
Yeah.
I like it, how oily it is. It's very different.
yeah, so that'll be really nice over the holidays. A nice soak or body scrub and a really nice face and body oil.
Yeah, I love that also.
Yeah, so the bath salts are called Success.
I
You like
it.
that name?
Yes.
I thought about calling them Overnight Success, but that was a little long for me, so they're just called Success. I think that's a good name. And then the oil is called Glow It All.
I love that.
Do you?
Yes, you're very clever in your naming.
Naming stuff's hard. I've had some really great names that I haven't been able to use because someone already has a trademark for them, even though they've never made anything with it. It's a tricky little business in there.
Bitches.
Bitches. Yeah, it's been interesting though. We have so many great products for next year. I had a bunch of people try and guess what the new products were, and a lot of you, because I was going to give anyone that got both of them right, I was going to give not a single person guessed both correctly. A lot of you guessed one. Like a lot of you guessed oil. A lot of people guessed, some other ones, but it was really interesting because I get such great feedback from customers going, well, is it shampoo, conditioner, which is something I've wanted to do for a while. It's not yet. Or body wash. Hint, that's maybe coming, but just not yet. But it's just really cool to get your feedback and see what you are most interested in. And I love that because it's like, well, wow, if I know that all of you want that, which I want a shampoo and conditioner so badly, you know, I mean, we would use it all the time, especially with the CBD in it, it'd be great. But it's so nice to get that kind of feedback from people, like, because then I'm like, oh, wait, well, that's what they want. So let's move something up the list. I've done that with my business the whole time. I don't know if a lot of people know that, you know, we'll have people guess what the next product is, and we'll have a few things already in the pipeline. But if they guess one over the other, we'll sell that one like first, because it feels like we're meeting everyone's needs, you know?
No, I am very excited about these new products and the ones to come. I cannot wait to get the Delta 8 going.
Yeah, I agree. But if you are in the need of some excellent hair care, which, you know, I don't offer very much of with Fitish, you really need to check out Pros. And I'm going to be interested in this because, you know, going through pregnancy, I've heard that I am going to lose some hair, and or just shed a lot, you know. And Pros is just specializes in custom hair care, right? So they're also now making custom hair supplements that are personally tailored to address your specific cause of shedding. So, you know, you can shed hair, and I look like I have a lot of hair. I lose a lot of hair. You can shed hair for hormonal changes, obviously, when we talk about pregnancy, stress level, diet, and more. And, you know, the result of this, you're going to get customized supplements guaranteed to help you grow thicker, longer, softer hair in record time, made with clean, safe, natural ingredients. Pros hair supplements. There are 2 capsules you take daily. The first capsule strengthens and rebalances the scalp to reduce shedding. The second capsule helps to spark fuller, faster growth deep in the follicle. And all of these supplements are free from drugs, synthetic fillers, and DHT hormones. They're gluten-free, dairy-free, nut-free, vegan, and cruelty-free. Really great. And multiple studies Pros has run shows that over 90% of women taking Pros hair supplements saw less shedding, more growth, and improved overall appearance in just 90 days. Try out your own custom hair supplements. You're going to get 15% off. Get yours at pros.com/Fitish. That's PROSE.com/Fitish for your free in-depth hair consultation and 15% off your custom hair supplements. Very cool.
Hey, Pros guys, can we give that to our dog Jefe because he sheds like a mofo?
Oh, Jefe, what are we going to do about him? He's being so angry. No? What? Sacrifice? He's been so angsty lately.
He's been like nonstop.
Was he whining more this morning?
Yeah.
Is something wrong with him, you think?
I don't know. Maybe he's going like through puberty or something.
I mean, he is only 2.
Yeah, they call it the horrible twos.
Terrible twos. Terrible. But yes, yeah, the horrible twos. It's basically the same thing, just doesn't have alliteration. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's just like that. He's just going through a stage of life. I just want him to get into the Wheezy stage.
Wheezy's the coolest. She's so dope. She's so easy. I love her.
Yeah, she's just like chills. This one is just food. I'm pretty sure every dog is food crazy, and especially a pug.
I think, but that's the thing. Wheezy loves food, but Wheezy doesn't really beg. I mean, she'll stand there and she'll sit by you when you're eating, but she doesn't feel annoying or like she's desperate. Jefe will eat, and then he searches her bowl, and then we'll be sitting on the couch, and for an hour, he is in every nook of the kitchen, just like a crackhead, like looking everywhere for a crumb of food, and it drives us fucking crazy. And then I think maybe this is normal with most dogs, that they're constantly looking for food. We just haven't. I've been very lucky with my pugs. I mean, they love food. They would, as long as there's food on the ground, they would eat till they exploded. But once the food's gone, they go sit. You know, they don't look around for food. And he's a monster. I mean, he's looking for crumbs under the rug. Like,
it's like a Roomba. Dog or Roomba.
I mean, that's the good thing. But then he leaves his fur behind. But yeah.
I wish he ate that.
But, you know, I think it's like I like to think it's like a kid, like how we've talked about if we have a kid. You know, I went to a birthday party for a kid, a 2-year-old over the weekend. And it's so interesting to see different kids' dispositions, because some are so chill, and then we'll have a sibling that the parent even acknowledges, like, this one's just out of control. I mean, I saw a little boy who's a year younger than his sister, and his sisters could not be more relaxed. And the little boy was literally like, only wanted to act like a dog, like crawling around on the ground like a dog, like barking, and rolling around. And the mom and dad were great. They're friends of my friends. And they're like, it's just wild. Like she could not be more calm and he is wild. And so I called Fran on the way home. I'm like, what are we going to do?
Shock
Like,
collar. He wants to act like a dog. Shock collar.
what are we going to do? I mean, especially with
What's the policy on that?
what, a shock collar?
Yeah.
It's probably frowned upon.
Well, we don't tell people.
It'd be like House of Horrors. Like we had child abuse in there. No, I just think that, and
we'll
I
serve it
know
as citronella one.
it was that a spray that is spraying citronella. Is that a mosquito? Weirdo. Fran's kidding, by the way. I know a lot of y'all get sensitive about our child rearing ideas. No,
we're not gonna.
I think he's kidding. I'll let you know if he's not, or we won't be together anymore. He won't have custody.
Don't look at that at our baby registry. Do not buy the shock collar. I'm kidding.
Yeah. You're such a weirdo. Anyway, I don't know. I think, and I mean, it's like Hefe reminds me of it because I go, if we do have a kid that's high energy, I think we just are going to have to put him in a lot of shit, right? Like Hefe goes to doggy daycare. He comes home. It's like a little kid. He is dead. I mean, I can't even lift him. He's that exhausted, like a little puppy would be, right? Like he is just so tired. On the days that he doesn't go and we leave him at home most of the day, he's so needy. He has so much pent up energy. So I think he needs a yard to run around, but I think he just needs more ways to burn off energy. And I would assume kids are the same way. Some kids are naturally just more chill demeanor, and some have a lot of energy that we're going to put them in everything, right?
Yeah.
Like every sport. I mean, we're going to have to be, carpooling them around town, but like we'll just have to put them in a whole bunch of stuff. I had a lot of energy when I was young. My mom.
We're gonna buy like those. In my family's ranch, we used to have this carousel that you hook the horse and it just start going around and it walks the horse around. We're just gonna have one for the kid and one for the dog, and they're just gonna be walking around.
Maybe that's a good thing. If the kid has energy and the dog has energy, then maybe they can run around.
Like just go freaked out.
Yeah, but that is gonna wear me out. I mean, your sister's little boy was amazing, but he's a lot. Like he
is the cutest baby, but he needs attention.
Yeah.
And
that's what your sister said. She's like, Jenna, don't use this as an example. My other two kids were not like this, and then he just.
I see Oliver, your friend Becca's baby, and he was so calm, like so chill. He could stay there and just be chill and just look at you and analyze.
We've had such a good mix of babies lately that I'm like, I don't know whether to be excited or scared.
But Lucas, he is wild, and he just, if he doesn't get what he wants, he just screams and shouts like.
And you know what? I want to throw something out for you too, because back to the girl that wrote us about trying to exercise in her toddler being picky, it reminded me, and I want to tell y'all, Fran's sister recommended such a great Instagram account. I love when someone tells me about a great Instagram account that's not like garbage stuff, and it's so good if you are a parent or about to be a parent and have a baby or a toddler. It's called Solid Starts. It has almost 1 million followers, but this woman that started this account, it's all about baby-led weaning, I think is what it's called. But it's when you start to introduce food to them at 6 months old, like real human food, and you're weaning them off breast milk. But the whole concept's really great, and it's kind of how you introduce them to stuff in the sizing. But it also talks about like food boundaries for kids, and Fran and I are so fascinated by that, because I always say I'm not worried about keeping an infant alive as much. I think that newborn stage is probably overwhelming, but like not, crazy because they sleep a lot. I'm more concerned about when they're toddler age, not raising a little shit of a kid and letting them get away with everything. And this Solid Starts is really great about kind of dinner table and food, like when you have a picky eater, how to set boundaries and how to do it. But it's called Solid Starts. So for those of you, and I know there's a lot of moms out there, or pregnant women that are listening to the podcast, it's been such a cool account to follow.
Yeah,
there's an app too, I think, which I haven't gotten yet because we're not there yet.
Really cool. And I firmly believe, for what I have seen, that kids that have more structure, while toddlers, they're better kids.
And I hope we're good at it, because you and I aren't very structured with our own lives, So maybe it'll be, can you be unstructured as a parent and have structure for a child? Probably. Like with a schedule and eating schedule, it'll make us be more. structured. But yeah, it's fascinating because it talks about how if a kid refuses to eat something, like if you serve dinner and they go, no, I want strawberries. Well, I think most of us, I think about myself, and if I had strawberries in the fridge, I'd be like, okay, here's strawberries, little rat, like just eat, And they say to not do that because kids never forget. Like if you say, it's almost like with a dog when you feed them from the table, that it'll take them like a lifetime to break it. But that you go, well, strawberries aren't on the menu tonight, but I'll put them on the next menu, and you don't have to eat what's on the menu tonight. And then parents are like, well, what if they go hungry, or what if I incentivize them and give them strawberries at the end? And at least this person with and she interviews all sorts of therapists, and so you get a lot of really good, credible advice. But they were like, no, I mean, it's about boundary setting, or if they want to get up and walk around the table when they're eating, you don't let them do that until they're finished, and if you give in on it, they won't forget. So you kind of have to like stick to your boundaries.
And it's very important what Becca was saying about habits, like how much it takes to build a habit, like, and how little it takes to break the habit.
Yeah.
For good. And yeah, like we just go, like my mom always used to tell me, like, this is not a restaurant, little shit.
Is that what she said?
Yeah. It's like, hey, I don't want that. Oh, that's what we have.
This is what we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't eat it, I feel like I had a babysitter.
But that changed when my brother
that
came
did
out.
that. Really?
That's different.
But he's more spoiled, right?
Yeah. He only ate quesadillas.
And he was allowed to only eat quesadillas?
Well, my parents were tired by then. Like,
that's what it is by the third. And maybe that's what your sister's dealing with.
Yeah.
Like the first one, the second one, you're on like good parenting behavior. And by the third one, you're like, oh, whatever.
Whatever. Just eat a fucking quesadilla.
Mm.
But that's all he ate. I don't know how he made it to be an athlete the way that he has been through his career, but built only on quesadillas.
Hey, quesadillas are powerful.
Well, they have protein.
I mean, we ate them last night. You made pizzadillas.
I did. I made pizzadillas. Yeah.
It's such a Mexican thing in our house now. Like we always have siete tortillas and cheese in the fridge. So we just make quesadillas all the time. I love it.
Yeah. And a Mexican comal.
I'm very excited. And a Mexican comal. We have that. That's the little pan on top of the stove. By the way, to end today's podcast, I wanted to let you know I ordered thank you cards because I want to be that type of person. This is something I want to do in my life. I want to be the person that sends thank you notes, especially now that I'm having a baby and people are buying us stuff. So instead of getting thank you cards, I got gracias cards, and I put Francisco y Jenna.
That's so cute, babe.
Very excited. And everything inside is gonna be in English though.
They're gonna love it.
Well, I need to send some cards to the people in Mexico that gave us cash.
Yeah, there were some very generous people around there.
Yeah. It was nice, just so you all know, it wasn't as awkward as I had anticipated when I talked about it on the podcast. Like we got it. We just opened up stuff the next day. So
but it was really nice of everybody and I love my mom. I love my parents. I think they're the sweetest. I'm so lucky they organized that baby shower, and it was so cute.
Sweet. Mm-hmm.
She loves you beyond belief. She loved the fact that we stayed there.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah. It was so nice.
Yeah. So just want to say thank you.
Fran, before we go, he brought my suitcase back, and I know I had said that last week. It's so nice. So he kept my suitcase, but he had his mom pack everything. So when we were there,
I'm just gonna have a parenthesis. She is the ultimate best packer. So I was.
No one's judging you. I was just wanted to tell the story about the
the coconut oil.
Yeah. She is a good packer. I noticed when I opened up the two suitcases, I was like, this is folded really nicely. But so when we were there, Fran and I like to use coconut oil for certain things. We find it to be helpful as a like natural lubricant. And so we couldn't find any and we were staying at his parents' house. So he like went one morning to the grocery store down the street to buy coconut oil. And so I have the coconut oil on the side of the bed. Coconut oil is like a great idea, by the way, because it's healthy and on and on. It has multiple uses. I mean, I would try not to confuse it. It's antibacterial. Yeah. So.
And it tastes good.
So we just, I'd be careful. Like we have coconut oil for the dogs that I put on their faces, but I don't use that one by the bed. You have to be careful.
As long as you don't double dip your finger, that's fine.
Anyway, so his mom came in the room one day and was like,
no, we were at the kitchen and they were like, we were looking for, I went to look for coconut oil because we needed it. and I looked everywhere as a guy looks,
Yeah, you couldn't find any.
and I couldn't find it, and we went to the store, bought a big jar. Keep going.
No, I would love for you to interrupt and take the story over.
I already did that.
So we're in the kitchen. She's making us breakfast, and his dad just unknowingly pulls out what looks to be a painter's can size of coconut oil. And Fran and I look at each other like, I was like, you had this here the whole fucking time? And we started laughing so hard it was like out of a sitcom. And then upon my departure, his mom saw the coconut oil sitting on the nightstand, the smaller can that we had bought. And she picks it up and she's like, oh, is this like the same? She says something to him in Spanish. Like, is this the same we have in the kitchen? And I look and like very quickly try to cover my tracks. And I'm like, ooh, like I rub my tummy because I do put it on my stomach too. I just didn't want her to know that we just had like sex lubricant coconut oil sitting next to the bed. And then she packed it in a Ziploc bag and sent us home with it. We were just going to leave it there.
I was like, and I thought about calling her because I know that she was about to pack everything and anything that was in that room. I was in a meeting and I was running late, and I was like, hey, Mom, do you mind helping me out? And she's like, oh, of course. So I was about to call it like, hey, don't pack the coconut.
Well, now we have another coconut oil.
But the great thing is that my concern wasn't carrying the coconut. My concern was the coconut opening, and she put it in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, because she knows how to pack.
Yeah.
She's amazing. All right. Well, before we let you go today, I teased that I was going to give you a code for Fitish product, and I don't do that often enough, and y'all are such loyal listeners and customers. So I know we talked about the 2 new products that we launched, and if you want to go shop this weekend only, I'll give you a code to get 15% off the new products or whatever you want. And since we've been talking about Delta 8, let's make it clever. The code is, let's make it Delta 15, DELTA 15. Delta 15 is going to be the code for 15% off your Fitish order, but it's only going to be good through the weekend. So hopefully you go try out our new stuff. And we'll see you when we get back from Paris.
Or what? I'm practicing, okay?
Adios. I'm practicing, okay? Bye.